People are like, oh, you know, at 20 weeks, was the baby breech, or was the head down, or was it laying sideways? I'm like, yes, all of the above. That's what they do at this point. They are still so small that they can, you know, flip around in circles if they wanted to. Oh my goodness. I feel like I start every video like that, but that's how I feel. It was daylight savings this weekend, and so spring forward, and I'm freaking exhausted. Doesn't help that I was up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning working on this project that I'm going to tell you guys about later. Yeah, I keep finding things. I'm like, oh, I should add that. And then it's like 8 hours worth of work to add it. So that's what I was working on, because I'm like, I'm almost done. I just want to finish this. Like 12 o'clock. I'm almost done. 1 o'clock. Okay, I'm so close to being done. It's like 2 o'clock. Like, oh my word, how did I stay up this late? I don't know. It just happens. I was on a roll, okay? It is not my fault. So anyway, obviously today is Monday, not Sunday. It's the 13th of March. It actually snowed again today. Luckily, it did not stick around for very long, and it's already melted, which is good. Clearly, I was too tired to record yesterday from staying up so late. I was just not in the mood whatsoever. So here we are, it's Monday. Last we left off, it was before my 20-week ultrasound. Very exciting. I was super nervous. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I do know why. Okay, so night before the ultrasound, I woke up probably 1 o'clock in the morning and could not fall back asleep till like 3. I laid there with my eyes closed, trying to think happy, calming thoughts, and my brain kept rerouting, and I kept thinking about what I needed to say to, you know, the ultrasound tech or their supervisor or whoever I needed to talk to convince them to let the intended parents come to the ultrasound with me. When I scheduled the appointment, they had said 1 person is allowed to come with you. I needed to bring 2 people with me. So I thought that I was gonna have to complain and whine and Karen, and I'm not a Karen person, but I was feeling rather feisty and thought that if I needed to, it would get done. So that's what I was worried about and couldn't sleep. Yeah, I laid there for several hours trying to fall back asleep and absolutely couldn't. And as I'm laying there, I'm like, you know, I could probably get up and do some stuff. Like, that's how awake I was. I was just not tired whatsoever. I ended up falling back asleep around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, which was super good because I had to get up early to get to my ultrasound appointment. I had to be there at 7:40 in the morning, and it's about, I want to say 45 minutes away. I told my son the night before, I was like, hey, just so you know, you're gonna have to get to the bus by yourself. I will call you. He's like, wake me up when you get up. I'm like, okay. So I woke him up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, okay, I need to leave, you know. So I set an alarm for him to, you know, leave to go to the bus. And I called him about 5 minutes before that. I'm like, okay, your alarm's gonna go off like 5 minutes. Make sure you get your shoes on so you can leave right when your alarm goes off so you don't miss the bus. So, speaking of which, okay, this is what I get for recording on a Monday instead of a Sunday. This morning, we get in the car and I'm like, shoot, we're gonna miss the bus, we're gonna be late. Get in the car. The pickup for the bus is at the bottom of the driveway of the complex that we live in. I figure if we leave the house 5-6 minutes before, we have plenty of time to get there. We park, we wait, and about a minute or so beforehand, he gets out and goes and stands with the other kids. It's Oregon. It is wet, it is rainy, it is cold, we've had snow. Like, it is not a fun time to wait for the bus. So he sits in the car with me until it's closer and then goes to get on the bus. This morning, we are about 2 minutes before the bus is supposed to show up. I get down the driveway, there's no bus in sight. And I was like, okay, maybe we're fine. I pull up and I park where I normally park. Not a single kid there. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? She came early again and picked up these kids again before the time that they were supposed to be picked up. I was so mad. Because I figured I was going to have to drive him to school. And when I drive him to school, I'm half an hour late for work. So, I mean, the bus schedule works out great because he gets on the bus, I drive straight to work, and I get there right on time. So, I was so mad this morning. I called the transportation office and I'm like, what's going on? This is the third day in a row. She has come early and now he's missed the bus because we weren't there 3 minutes before she was supposed to get there. The lady at the office, she, calls on the radio, which I can hear the whole thing. Calls on the radio for the bus and she's like, where are you at? You need to check your time. We've gotten multiple complaints that you're picking up early. It's like, maybe I'm not the only parent that is called in to complain today. Ooh. So anyway, she gets on the radio and she's like, hey, is there anyone that can pick up this kid that's, missed the bus? And somebody said that, their stop was right down the street. So we went, she's like, they'll be there in about 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll be 10 minutes late for work. So we go and park at this other spot and I didn't realize it. She said the name of the street, right? There's 2 streets with the same name. One is a court, one's an avenue, one's a drive, one's an avenue, something like that. So I didn't ask her which one, because I think they butt up to each other. So there's one that goes this way, one that comes and ends here, and then there's another street. You can't even see what I'm doing. Anyway, so there's, wow, I really can't. Okay, so there's one street that runs this way, one street that runs this way, and another street that runs this way. Well, this one and this one have the same name, just a different drive, road, avenue, court, whatever, street. So we were the one down here and I parked and I was like, I don't know if she meant this one or this one. So it ended up being fine. The bus driver was very nice. He waved at me 2 times and smiled. Like, don't worry, it's fine, we've got this, So he ended up going to school and it was totally fine. But the whole time in the car, he's like, can you just drive me to school? I don't want to go on the bus. Can you just drive me? And I was like, no, I have to get to work. I cannot sit for half an hour in the car with you. He's like, well, you can just drop me off at school. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't want him standing outside the school for half an hour, potentially by himself. No thanks. So yeah, anyway, he called me when he got home and it was fine. That's why I was worried about leaving early, because his bus driver is a new person and I thought maybe she would pick up early and he wouldn't make it to school, and it was a whole thing. probably one of the reasons I couldn't sleep very well was because I was worried about him getting to school. One of the other reasons that I was, having trouble sleeping was the intended parents coming back into the ultrasound room with me for the 20-week scan. Now, the person I scheduled with was like, well, one can wait in the waiting room and then one can go with you and they can swap halfway through. I'm like, that is so stupid. So stupid. So we got there, right? I got there first. I checked in at the front desk because you have to it was at the hospital, so you have to go to patient registration or whatever, and then they send you to wherever in the hospital you need to go for whatever you're having done. So she's like, imaging is straight down the halls, first door past the elevators on the left. It's like, great. So I turn around and look towards the front entrance because the intended parents told me that they were like right around the corner and they were coming. So I stood there for a second and was like waiting for them. So they actually walked in right as I was about to go to the imaging department. So they came with me. And as we're walking down the hall, the intended father goes, don't say anything if they make a big deal about us both coming back to the ultrasound room. I have an idea. I was like, okay. I had no idea what he had planned. He never explained it to me, but we got there, sat down, and the ultrasound tech came into the waiting room. She took us back, like nothing. Didn't say anything, didn't mention anything. She's like, oh, and who are these people with you? I was like, oh, these are the intended parents, and I introduced them to the tech, and she's like, oh, that's so great, blah, blah, blah. Like, nothing. Not an issue whatsoever. It was so good. I had stressed about nothing. I had lost sleep over nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. There was no problem. She didn't even mention COVID, like, nothing. So, that's good. I'm one of those type of people that will, like, worry constantly until something is, like, resolved. Yeah, I was worried ever since I scheduled the appointment until like she took us back. I was so worried. I'm like, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna do this? I don't want to come off as like a Karen, but at the same time, they need to be there. I'm like, gotta find this happy middle ground. Didn't need to do any of that. Didn't need to stress whatsoever. Who knew? So the anatomy scan went really well. Baby at one point, at multiple points, was folded in half. Like, folded in half. So she was like laying on one side, feet fully stretched above her head. Like her feet were above her head. Fully, like, legs stretched out in half. It was pretty funny to see. Like, she was moving around. And I had told the tech, I was like, yeah, she really likes this right side. Because when I laid down on the table, I lifted up my shirt, so she could put on the ultrasound gel. And the intended father looks at me and he goes, is she on the right side? It's like, yep, sure is. He goes, that's so funny because I can see it. Your stomach is like lopsided. Anyway, so she did the ultrasound and the baby was moving around the entire time, trying to get away from the ultrasound probe, I'm sure. Started on, on the one side, moved down to the bottom, went on the other side, like all the places. People are like, oh, at 20 weeks, was the baby breech or was the head down or was it laying sideways? I'm like, yes. All of the above. That's what they do at this point. They are still so small that they can, flip around in circles if they wanted to. Like, it is way too early to be worried about, oh, well, my baby is breech, like butt down, they got plenty of time to flip over. I think it's 36 weeks that the baby is too big to like flip around on its own. So at 20 weeks, no, you got plenty of time. That's not even a problem. We actually saw the baby drinking amniotic fluid, which is, you know, it's totally normal. It's what they do. They drink it and then they end up peeing it out. I've seen an ultrasound one time where you could see the baby peeing on the ultrasound. Like, crazy. It was so crazy. But yeah, we saw drinking the amniotic fluid. We saw like hands moving and the cutest feet picture you've ever seen, like side by side like this. Is so cute. For those of you that have been on my hematoma adventure, it's gone. So good. I told the tech, I was like, yeah, I have this subchloranic hematoma. It was like 6 centimeters. She looks at me, she's like, 6 centimeters? Yeah, huge. So I was like, if you could check and see if that's still there, that'd be great. So she looked, she's like, I don't see it. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure it was on the top. And like tried to explain compared to the baby where it was. And she like looked around, she's like, yeah, no, I don't see it. So thank goodness that is done. I have not had spotting for several weeks. I think it's been like 3 or 4 weeks now that I haven't had spotting. So that's good. It's completely healed. My restrictions are lifted, which womp womp means I have to clean my own house now. The perk of being on restrictions was that I could pay someone to come clean my house and then I got reimbursed for it. So I didn't have to pay out of pocket for somebody else coming and cleaning my house. Now I do, or I have to clean it myself. So I've been cleaning it myself. It's a bummer. I did not get everything done. Well, I was so tired on Sunday. All I did was 3 loads of laundry, which are sitting right here. They're like neatly laid out, okay? So they're not getting all wrinkly. They're not in a basket somewhere getting wrinkly. I just need to fold them, hang them, put them away. They're clean, they're dry, they're neatly laid out. They're just not put away. So yeah, I did 3 loads of laundry on Sunday and then worked on my project that I've got going on. But other than that, I didn't really clean anything. So yeah. As soon as my mom moves out, which that's a whole other story. My mom's gonna be moving out sometime. I don't know when. She's like, oh, you know, maybe the end of the month, but she said that last month. So she's working on something before she can move in. She's remodeling. And so it takes longer than you think. She told me in January, she's like, oh, I hope to be moved out by, you know, the end of February. End of February comes. Oh, I hope to be moved out the end of March. Okay, that's in 2 weeks, but I doubt it. So we'll see. She's moving out, and once she does, I'm gonna set up my robot vacuum cleaner that I have upstairs. I might need to get another one for down here. The duplex that we're living in is a 3-story duplex. It's got the daylight basement, a main floor, and then a top floor. And so there's carpet on all the floors. Nope, just kidding. There's not carpet down here. I have a rug down here. But we have a lot of pine needles and fir needles that get drug into the house just walking back and forth. And so they get tracked all over the house. And I absolutely hate walking barefoot and stepping on like dirt and not really rocks, but like the teeny tiny rocks. I hate that feeling on the bottom of my feet. Can't stand it. So having a vacuum that like sucks up all that stuff and I don't have to do it It's fabulous. So I need to get another one for down here because I have one for upstairs, but I don't want to start using it until after she's moved out because they kind of map your house so they don't bump into things after a while. And I don't want to do that and then have everything moved and like shifted, because when she moves out, I'm getting a new couch. The couch that she has is like 30 years old. It used to belong to my grandparents and it's broken and falling apart. So I want to get a new couch. So like that's gonna change the whole like area of where the couch is. And then there's like other things up there. There's like an exercise bike. There's random empty boxes all over. There's, you know, just stuff in the way. And I don't want it mapping the floor and then missing the areas that have all the stuff on it now. But it'll be gone after she leaves. So it's a whole thing. My brain has like figured this all out, and maybe I'm crazy. Who knows? Maybe it would figure it out eventually and it'd be fine. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so anyway, that was a fun rabbit hole. My restrictions are lifted, which means I can start working out again. Have I? No, I have not. Because, okay, here's why. My excuse list. Daylight savings, okay? I'm freaking tired. I'm not gonna work out today. Can I? Yeah, I could. Am I going to? Absolutely not, because I am so tired. I'm gonna go to bed early. Also, I am still having cramping, and I told my doctor when we saw her on Thursday after my anatomy scan. So I had the scan, and then right afterwards I had my doctor's appointment. I told her, I was like, hey, you know, showed her the back of my hand. I'm like, what the heck is this? What can I put on it to make it go away? And she looked at it and she's like looking at both my hands and she flips them over. She's like, is it anywhere else on your body? And I was like, no, it's just right here on the back of one hand. And it's a very specific like strip right here. She's like, it's hives. And I was like, excuse me, what? I'm not allergic to anything. Hives from what? She's like, well, it's funny. So a little backstory. We were sitting in the exam room and the attendant mom was talking about something. I don't remember exactly what it was. It might have been about like what's on my hand. Might not have been. I can't remember. But she was saying, you know, it's funny because my mom used to joke every time we complained about anything that it was because we were pregnant. 10 years old, pregnant. You have a headache at 10 years old, pregnant. Like all the things. She's like, Mom, I'm 10 years old. Like, you know, just as a joke, like, oh, you're pregnant. So the doctor comes in, looks at my hand, asks me the questions, and she's like, yeah, it's hives. I'm like, hives from what? Like, I haven't ever had an allergy. And she goes, it's because you're pregnant. Like, what? That's a thing? She's like, well, you probably came in contact with something that your body didn't like and it gave you hives. And because you're pregnant, you're maybe more sensitive to something. And also because you're pregnant, that's why it hasn't gone away, because your body is, you know, trying to get rid of it or whatever. So it's reacting to it. It's like, you're telling me I've had hives for 3 weeks because I'm pregnant? Okay. So she's like, you can put this on it, you can put that on it, or you can take an antihistamine like Benadryl, Claritin. She listed off a couple of them. I was like, well, I have Claritin, you know, on me. I can just start taking that now. It's like, how long am I supposed to take this for? She's like, oh, you know, maybe a week or so. It's been Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, today. It's been 5 days and it's cleared up significantly. It's still there, but Claritin is on the list of like pregnancy safe medications that you can take. It was on the list from my fertility clinic, so you know it's fine because they're dealing with like microscopic babies that are much more susceptible to, you know, drugs and stuff. So I might take it until it's, you know, actually gone. I'm trying really hard not to scratch it because it still itches. So I've been putting lotion on it multiple times a day. It's much better. There's not as many bumps and they're not as raised. But yeah, I always thought hives were like big red splotches. These are like teeny tiny, like pinpoint, anyway, hives. Who would have thought? So I texted the intended parents probably last week, like Monday or so. And I was like, you know, I'm getting really worried because I haven't felt the baby kick that much. Like maybe a rolling sensation or like shifting, changing positions, but no actual like kicks. So as I was texting or typing out the message, the baby kicked me like 3 times. 3. So, and then of course I texted them afterwards and was like, just kidding. Just kidding, the baby kicked me, proving me wrong as I was sending this to you. So the other day, okay, this baby loves the right side. I cannot figure out why. All right, well, my camera ran out of memory card space. I might have forgotten to take off an old video or 2 from it, so whoops. Anyway, what was I saying? Shoot. Oh, the video quality is not great. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Can we fix this? Okay, that's a little better. Closer, at least. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, okay, I got it. We're here. Got it. So this baby loves the right side. I've never had a child, this is the 4th baby I've carried, never had a child that preferred one spot over another, let alone like a side of my body. The intended mom is like, oh, maybe it's warmer there. I don't think it works like that. As far as I know, all your insides are equally as warm. Who knows? Maybe it's just more cushiony there. I don't know. So one day I'm laying in bed and this baby like curls up or something on my right side, like pushing, or I have no idea what they were doing in there, but it started hurting. So I used my hand and was like pushing on the side of my stomach, like, move over, you're hurting me. When I tell you, this child kicked me the hardest it had ever kicked me when I did that. They were so mad that I was trying to make them move out of their favorite spot. So mad. It was so funny. I started laughing. Like, this child is so feisty. So feisty. It was so funny though. I could not believe it. Sorry guys, this video is just bouncing all over the place. So we're in the exam room and the doctor walks in. This is the first time we had seen her for this pregnancy. She was my doctor for my last pregnancy. Love her to death. She is so great. She is very respectful of the whole surrogacy situation. Like I said in previous videos, like, she never calls me mom. She always talks to the intended parents and asks them if they have questions. Just very respectful of the whole dynamic. So she walks in and immediately walks over to the intended parents and introduces herself and like starts talking to them. Completely ignores me. Like, totally typical. She's like, you've done this before, you know what this is all about. Anyway, she like asked them if they had any questions, and the intended father starts asking the questions that I have. And I was like, wait. She wants to know if you have questions, not if I have questions. And they're like, no, we don't have any questions, but you know, I do. So I asked her my questions. When I was at the ultrasound, like after the ultrasound, the tech was like, hey, you know, you can use the bathroom. I'm like, actually I can't because I need to have them do a test on my urine. She's like, oh, okay. Like, I had to pee so bad. We get to the doctor's office and I was like, hey, I have an appointment at 9 and I have to pee really bad. So is there any way I can do that before my appointment? So anyway, I asked the doctor, I'm still like cramping a whole bunch and I can't figure out what it's about. I left a urine sample so you can test for like a UTI. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so she was asking, she's like, well, how often does it happen? And I was like, you know, maybe once or twice a week. I didn't think to tell her that it happens like consistently all the freaking time. It just hurts more once or twice a week. So when she called me Thursday night, I was like, hey, just so you know, I forgot to tell you this, like, thought you were asking, you know, this and meant this. Anyway, so she tested the urine and she's like, so I actually have another woman that has group B strep flare-ups, where there's like, your body naturally has bacteria in it, and for some reason when she's pregnant they like flare up and she ends up having really bad cramping and contractions and stuff. And so she has to be put on antibiotics every once in a while because it just keeps coming back, and it's a whole thing. So she did a culture on me to check to see if I had, you know, some kind of infection going on, which I have no idea how I would have gotten an infection, because literally, not that this is the only way you can get an infection down there, but from the medication, like the clinic told me, you know, no sex of any, like not a problem, but no sex of any kind, you know, starting when you start the medications until after the heartbeat confirmation at 6 weeks. I was having cramping the entire time. Like after transfer, it's totally normal to be cramping for like up to 2 weeks, okay? After 2 weeks, I was still cramping. Mild to moderate cramping, right? I'm just gonna leave it as there has been nothing up in there since they were there for the transfer, and then both of the ultrasounds that they did at the clinic. Somehow there's bacteria and I have an infection, and that's what's causing my cramping. So my doctor wrote me a prescription for antibacterial that I gotta start taking tomorrow because the pharmacy hadn't filled it when I got off work. And they said it would be ready tomorrow. So good times. I've never had this happen before, so it's really weird. Like I said, like I haven't done anything, so I don't even know how I got an infection, but that's what's causing my cramping, and like it's still going on. I was telling somebody the other day, like, this is the most painful pregnancy I've ever had. I did not have cramping like this after the transfers of the last 2 that I carried. And this one, it's just been consistent cramping for like weeks on end, months on end. Like I'm 20 weeks. This cramping started with the transfer. That was 18 weeks ago. It's been a hot minute. When people are in pain, like physical pain, it's hard to, I don't know how to explain it. It's hard to feel like yourself. You know, I do these videos and you have no idea, like cramping right now, it freaking sucks. It really does, but I don't sit here and whine and complain about it. Okay, I complained about the hematoma, but that was different. That had a higher risk of miscarriage. Not that that matters when you complain, but I don't know. It's just this constant crampy pain. Like it feels like I'm on my period for the last 20 weeks. It is not fun. I'm hoping that the medication is gonna be this like magic cure-all, and the cramping is gonna go away, and I'm gonna feel great, and I'm just, I really hope it's gonna fix everything, because the cramping, it sucks. Oh, the last thing on my update for this week, I'm really hoping that this is one of those I'm stressing for nothing situations, but I've been stressing like a lot. When she called me Thursday night, she was talking about, she's like, everything looks great on your ultrasound except, and I'm like, oh. She goes, there's a measurement that I don't like. I was like, okay. She's like, I want you to go into the maternal fetal medicine doctor that comes here from OHSU. It's like, okay. She's like, I want you to get another ultrasound done so we can recheck the measurement and make sure that it's accurate. So I've been freaking out. I tried not to, but I can't help myself. I worry. I am a worrier, not a warrior, a warrior. Ow. So I'm trying not to worry. I'm trying not to stress. The doctor's office called me today and they were like, hey, so the soonest that they can get you in here at this office is February 11th, not February. Wow, I'm just on a roll today. April 11th. That's a month from now. She's like, if they don't call you to schedule, because they want me to go to the OHSU downtown on top of the hill. It's like 30 miles away. So annoying. I wish they had more openings closer to where I live and work, but they don't. So OHSU it is. Never been there. I don't know how to anything there. Not a clue. I've never been there. Never driven. There's like a tram. I'll put up a picture. There's like a tram that goes from like one parking garage up the hill to the actual hospital. Never used that. Kind of terrifying, to tell you the truth. I'm not a fan of heights. I'm not really scared of heights. I'm scared of falling and dying is what I'm scared of. She's like, because we don't have appointments until April here at this location, we're gonna have you go to the OHSU location. If they don't call you to schedule today, make sure that you call them tomorrow and schedule something. So I was like, okay. Maternal fetal medicinist. I have never had to go to a specialist before, so I'm kind of freaking out. I tried looking up online what they were talking about, and there's not a whole lot of information, which can be good or bad. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, stressing and worrying is not going to change anything, but I can't help myself. I'm really hoping, honestly, that the ultrasound tech just measured it wrong and it's actually fine. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see. Anyway, that's really all I have for this update. I've been talking for like way too long. If you enjoy this content, you can follow me on these social medias. Do not forget to subscribe so you can follow along with my journey and stay updated with this second ultrasound I have to get. Man, I hope it's really nothing. I'm so stressed out about this. It's like I'm trying not to be, you know, for the baby. Stress is not going to fix anything. It's not going to change anything. It's only making myself miserable. I can't help it. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next update, hopefully with good news. I'm not expecting to get into the specialist like super quick, but we'll see. Maybe it will. No. I was like trying to be optimistic. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know if I'll see them this week. I highly doubt it, but I will update you if I end up doing that. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.